it's easier said than done sometimes when we want to just take a guy out of a game. But after what Halliburton did last time in this building, how did you keep him just to 8 shots?
Kind of sums it up, right? Halliburton's he's a unique player. He really is. He plays a winning style of basketball, and he's the focal point for basically everything they do. They have all the pieces really fit around him, and I think Coach Carlisle's just put together a really great offensive system that just complements everybody. They're not an easy team to guard when Halliburton's healthy. When he's played, they've been a very explosive offensive team. So you have to deal with like a bunch of different high IQ stuff and the toughness and the detail and the urgency and the level of focus. So instead of trying to cover everything in a walkthrough, it's like, all right, Jimmy, you got Halliburton, and just cover all of these different things that we don't have time to cover. And that's basically, what you saw tonight. And then everybody else stepped in and did their job, particularly with the switches and just trying to get to airspace, trying to get him to, get out of his comfort spots, which is easier said than done. Caleb was very active. Gabe was super active defensively, and Bam obviously was really good on both ends of the court. But when you have like that ultimate Swiss Army knife defender that has the nuances, the savviness, and the IQ and the toughness to be able to handle all of the different things that are required against that offensive team. It just kind of simplifies it when you can just say, all right, you take him.
Erik, when Bam made it known, I guess over the summer, coming into the season, whatever it was, that he wanted more shots, is that just something that you thought a guy says, or do you think it was it was really going to be something that you guys could make happen, that you could find more shots for him this year and that he could take advantage of those added opportunities?
Yeah, I knew he meant it, because I know his drive to try to impact winning, and who we've faced and what we've faced in the last 3 playoff series. This was going to be required, for him to really develop and take that next step forward, and for the team to be able to facilitate that growth, particularly against these big bigs that play in this drop coverage. And Bam has really just worked tirelessly to be able to be efficient in those areas, and then still find a way to be aggressive. I thought it was just as important for him to be able to get to the free throw line, in that first half, to be able to set the tone for the game. And it's hard, for a big in this league. A lot of times you're dependent on perimeter players getting you the ball, and you have to be able to read defenses, read coverages, read what has actually happened in that possession where you're not predetermining as a perimeter player, but so much is celebrated on, the perimeter players, putting up a bunch of big numbers and a bunch of shots and having big set screens so they can go to work. And so our guys have really embraced that to be able to also try to get him the ball in his places where he can be effective.
So just the shot chart tonight with so many mid-range shots, season low 19 threes. Mid-range has been up a little bit. 3-point attempts have been down.
Yeah, it all depends. You can't say it categorically or as an absolute, like every single night. It just depends on the team, depends on the game, depends on what's given to you. You also have to play basketball. And against this coverage, a lot of times that's what it was going to be for Bam. Now, I don't want this to be a steady diet because I still think it's really important for us to be super aggressive where we're getting to the free throw line and we're getting attempts at the rim. That's probably the most important thing for us, our paint touches, our attacks, our assertiveness. And then what happens after that, or what is open, that depends, night to night. I do think we passed up a few threes, and I do think we passed up a few opportunities to kick to open shots tonight. But at least we, did a great job of just being assertive. Bam and Jimmy, them being able to get to the free throw line just allows you to control the game.
Bam's obviously been such a playmaker with the assists and stuff like that in the past, but as he's evolved, like the way you're talking about, is it starting to feel more like you guys are getting shots on offense based on sort of the attention that Bam is drawing now more than ever?
A little bit, and we probably do need a little bit more of his playmaking as well. The playmaking may happen in some different ways because we're seeing a lot more scheming of that third defender, getting into his sweet spot, and then it'll be in the next level of his development is the playmaking again, which was what he'd been doing for years anyway. He just needs to recognize it now that's happening in those situations on pick and roll pocket passes, and that's born out of respect. And then as we continue to get healthier and more in rhythm, the playmaking from him handling and going to dribble handoffs, that'll also access an important part of our menu as well.
Caleb has 11 boards tonight. It almost seems like the rebounding and the transition play goes hand in hand anyway, but I guess just how is that part of it being unleashed in terms of just letting him go and continue to kind of create easy buckets in that way?
Yeah, his activity level defensively is probably one of the top 5 to 8 things for us this year that has kind of set the tone for games, that have led to winning. It's impacted winning. When he's really been able to put his fingerprints on all the different aspects defensively and just be super disruptive, to be an irritant, and to make those multiple efforts. That's probably when we've, there's a few things, our KPIs, and that's one of them. And so it's vital to our team, his energy, his activity, his multiple efforts. And then everybody wants him to be able to take those energy efforts and translate that into the open court. Sometimes those can be relief opportunities for us, but also the catch and go drives in the half court. He also does a great job working behind the defense now, in a way that Jimmy does, and then is on the catch threes. Particularly with that starting lineup in the half court. It's more in the half court. Those are important as well. But it starts and almost ends with his defensive activity and impact on that side of the floor. That's where he moves the needle the most for us.
Last question.
When do you expect Ömer Yurtseven to be back in rotation?
I don't have an answer. I just like the progress. And you probably saw a lot of what he's doing pregame. You probably saw a little bit of after practice yesterday. Things in our center position are trending in a much better direction for sure. Okay, thank you.